Vaidhi Bhakti, according to the rules and regulations of Vaidhi Bhakti, you should perform Purascharana after receiving Diksha. So when Mahaprabhu had visited them, he changed their names. You are not Sakar Malik and Dabir Kas. Now you are Rupa and Sanatan. So the changing of name is one of the 5 samskars in the process of Diksha. There are 5 samskars in Diksha. And after that one should do Purascharana. So though they are Paramahamsa, though they are fully liberated and transcendental, out of humility, they are following some rules and regulations of Vaidhi Bhakti to set an example for others. Also I said, Maharaj, Rupa Goswami has written in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, if you do bhakti yourself, you get the benefit. But if you have a temple and you have a pujari and you pay the pujari to do the seva, you don't get the benefit of the seva. Why? Because bhakti is the Krishna Mukata. It is the turning of your consciousness towards Krishna. So if you pay someone else to do the seva while you're watching TV, then your consciousness has not been turned towards Krishna. So something is bhakti only if your consciousness is actually absorbed in that. So all of these arguments I was presenting to Maharaj. And he listened. He said, they were very humble. So they were following these rituals and engaging. They were doing themselves, but they were engaging brahmanas in this. Really, from the transcendental point of view, they were giving benefit to those brahmanas of their association. And from their point of view, they are very humble and following these regulations. And secondly, he said that it is their desire to become free from all entanglements and escape and go to Vrindavan and meet with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So even though in one sense the ritual is unnecessary, but they did it as an expression of their desire. So he said, in spiritual life, this is what you have to watch. You have to see what is the intention behind everything. So don't become bewildered that they did this Purascharana, which is in Vaidhi Bhakti, and it's not exactly necessary, especially for liberated souls, but you should think that in their humility, they wanted to go through the performance of all of these rituals, and their inner intention was, oh, may I come out from this situation and be situated at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in your spiritual life, always pay attention to this. Even if you're hearing, chanting and remembering, and serving the deity, and doing the so-called activities of pure bhakti, which are completely necessary. But if you have anyabilas, another intention, then it's all just like a drama. You can call some manager in Hollywood and bring some film star to come and put on a tilak and kantimala and pretend to be a devotee. You're pretending. Only pretending. If in your heart you keep another desire. So always pay attention to this. Why am I performing this activity of bhakti? Anyabilastashunyam jnanakamartyanavritam anukuliyena krishnadusharam bhakti uttamam. Without any other desire, only for the benefit of Sri Krishna. So I was very inspired and very satisfied. Once I came to Maharaj just very privately in his room with a couple of senior devotees who were with me, like my very dear brother, God brother, perhaps you know, Sripad Krishna Chandra Prabhu. So we came to Maharaj and we have the question that so much is written in Shastra that when Krishna has left Vrindavan about the separation of all the Brajavasis. But what about the separation of the Navadvipasis when Sri Krishna leaves? We have heard that something about Vishnu Priya, that she was chanting Harinam, and with every mantra she was taking 1 grain of rice and then washing it in her tears and putting it aside. And like this she would chant from the middle of the night all the way through to almost noontime. and then she would take whatever, only the rice which has been bathed in the tears, she would then cook and offer this, and then take prasad with Mata Sachi. But we don't see that this intensity of separation, it seems, in the other associates, in the same way. So, then Maharaj, he said that when Mahaprabhu leaves Navadvip, how the separation will manifest in different devotees is different, because they all have different relationships. Even the love of Sachimata is higher than the love of Vishnu. People don't understand. She's Madhya Yashoda. And Vishnu Priya is the incarnation of Navada Bhakti, 9 types of Vaidhi Bhakti. At most we can see that she is the incarnation of Satyabhama. Lakshmi Priya is considered to be incarnation of Rukmini, and Vishnu Priya incarnation of Satyabhama. So their bhakti is according to Maryada, rules and regulations. So he said that is why it was Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur who advised Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur when he made the temple, in the Yoga Pit temple, to put Mahaprabhu and Lakshmi Priya and Vishnu Priya in the middle. Why? Because Radha Krishna, also Radha Madhava there, one cannot approach Radha Madhava directly. They don't accept service actually in Vaidhi Bhakti. If you serve Radha Krishna in Vaidhi Bhakti, then Lakshmi Narayan within Radha Krishna accept that seva. So first you have to serve Mahaprabhu in Vaidhi Bhakti. And therefore, Jagannath Das Babaji had, Jagannath Das Babaji had told Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur had told Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, you should establish the Vishnu Priya and Lakshmi Priya with Gauranga Mahaprabhu. That is Gaur Narayan. Gaur Narayan, there. So first serve Mahaprabhu in Vaidhi Bhakti, afterwards it will become Raganuga Bhakti if one has the association of devotees in Raga Marg. And then one becomes qualified to serve Radha Madhava. So he said that the different devotees in Navadvip, how their separation manifests is different according to the type of their love. And then he gave a very beautiful example that I pray I will never forget for my whole life. He said, look at the example of Nityananda Prabhu. When Mahaprabhu left Navadvip, then Nityananda Prabhu, he was preaching everywhere. He would go to visit Mahaprabhu in Puri for a few months, and Mahaprabhu would send him away, and again he would go preaching. When even after Mahaprabhu disappeared, Nityananda Prabhu was preaching everywhere. He said this was his separation. His separation manifested in that way. Why? Because that is his service to Mahaprabhu. To spread Harinam Sankirtan everywhere. So though Vishnu Priya, the separation was manifested in washing the bog with her tears. But for Nityananda Prabhu, his separation from Mahaprabhu was manifest in his deep attachment to the seva of Mahaprabhu in the form of prachar everywhere. And one should understand the life of Vaishnavas in this way also. You see? Those who are not liberated, those who are conditioned souls, those who have bodily attachment, those who still have worldly desires, they're also so-called preaching. But their preaching is only for their own pratishtha, only for their own name and fame. But those who have deep love for their Guru Bharati and realization, then they're also preaching. But why? It is the anubhav of their deep separation from their Guru. So their prachar, they cannot stop preaching. They're doing bhajan every morning, and then after their bhajan, they go out and they're preaching. This preaching is the overflowing of love in separation from their Gurudev. Because as long as they are following the order of their Gurudev, they feel the hand of Gurudev on the shore. When Gurudev Gurudev was old, then he always used to call one close disciple and put his hand on his shoulder, walking to class. So those who are serving their Gurudev, heart and soul, they feel the hand of Gurudev on their shoulder and they go to class. Maharaj would, you guys quoted the verse, Maharaj would always quote this verse. Sneha lesha apeksha matra Sri Krishna kripa Sneha vashavaya kare swatantra achar. Who has spoken this verse? Where does it come from? You heard from your Gurudev, but who is he quoting? Oh, you should know it very deep. These are the words of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You see, after Mahaprabhu had accepted sannyas and came to Puri, he was there only for a few months, and on the pretext of going to South India to search out his brother, when he was really looking for the Braj-Rasik Vaishnava Association of Ramananda Rai. So he set off to South India and he toured for a few years. Then he came back to Puri. And when he came back to Puri, various associates began to arrive from different places there. So one day Mahaprabhu was sitting with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and some other devotees. And Govinda Prabhu, the personal servant of Srila Ishvara Puri, Mahaprabhu's guru, arrived there and gave Dandavat Pranam to Mahaprabhu. So he came, he said, "Oh Mahaprabhu, I am the personal servant of Srila Ishvara Puripad. And just before our Gurudev passed away, he gave me this instruction, go and serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So on his instruction, I have come here now, at your lotus feet." Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya looked at him and he thought, Srila Ishvara Puripad is a great sannyasi and a great Brahmin, Vaishnava especially. But this Govinda Das is a Sudra from the lowest caste. And according to Shastra, sannyasi should accept service from Brahmanas. They should only stay in the house when they're traveling. They should only stay in the house of a Brahmin. They should only accept food from the hand of a Brahmin, not from any low caste person. But Ishvara Puripad was receiving all service from Sudra. So how is this? Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In reply, Mahaprabhu said, Sneha lesha pektra matra Sri Krishna kripa Sneha vasha kari Sneha vasha hoya kari swatantra achar. Every word is very deep. The meaning is this: Krishna's kripa, the mercy of Krishna, matra, only, exclusively. Apeksha is dependent, not on anything else except one thing. Sneha lesha. Lesh means a little bit of sneha, affection. Service which is performed only for the pleasure of the object of service, with a melting heart. Sneha means melting heart. Krishna's mercy is dependent on this. If someone serves in this way, then Krishna gives mercy. So why Sneha Vasha? Sneha Vashamaya means Krishna comes under the control of Sneha. Kare Swatantra Achar. And Krishna does Swatantra Achar. Achar means activities. And Swatantra means independent. Independent activities. So Krishna is not independent of his devotee. Aham bhakta paradhino hiyashvatantra ivadvija. Lord Narayan said to the Vasamuni, I am I am subordinate to the love of my devotees. I am not independent. So why did Mahaprabhu say Swatantra Achar, Krishna does independent activities? Lord Brahma, when he prayed, offered prayers to Krishna in Vrindavan, he said, Asyasya Deva Vapuso Madanu Grahasya Swaicha Mayasya Naibhuta Mayasya Kopi. Oh my Lord, your body is not made of 5 material elements. You are transcendental, all-powerful. I cannot estimate the extent of your shaktis, your powers, the extent of your joy, the extent of the powers of your devotees, and the extent of the joy they feel in serving you. Sweta mayasya nahi bhuta mayasya gopi. And oh my Lord, you are swechamai. That means you are under the control of the love and the desires of your devotees. So Krishna is not Swatantra, independent. He's dependent on the love of his devotees. So why is Mahaprabhu saying Kari Swatantra Achar? Here Swatantra means independent of the rules written in the scripture. If someone will say, oh, you're behaving Swatantra, doing Swatantra Achar, means scripture says you should do this, this and this, but you're acting whimsically. That is Swatantra Achar. You're not following the rules. You're acting independently of the order of your Guru and the order of Vaishnavas. Swatantra Achar. So Mahaprabhu is saying, Krishna has Swatantra Achar. That means, because he's controlled by loving service of his devotees, therefore he doesn't act according to the rules and regulations of the scripture. Krishna doesn't. And so similarly, he said, so in the same way, my Gurudev, Sakshat Hari, is directly manifestation of the Lord. And he is also controlled by the love of his devotees, and he can act independently, and therefore there is no fault in him accepting the service of a Sudra, Govinda, because Govinda's heart is full of sneha, full of affection. Now Mahaprabhu has answered the question of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. You see, the thing is, why does Krishna himself transgress the rules and regulations of scripture? Because he has said, Samoham sarvabhuteshu name dvestosti na priya ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya mai te teshu chapyaham. I am equal to everyone. I don't favor anyone, and I am not hostile or against anyone. That is for all the general people of this world. But if someone is serving me, then I am in them and they are in me. That means I become very attached to them. So Krishna has partiality towards his devotees. He's indifferent to those who are indifferent to him, but he's partial to those who are partial to him. Because that's Krishna's nature. I reciprocate with everyone. So if someone has affection for Krishna, he never considers what is their position. He reciprocates, and Sri Guru is also like that. Everything depends on loving service. Service with affection. So, my very dear Vishwarup Prabhu, he was saying, people used to come to Maharaj and say, give me mercy, give me mercy. But Maharaj used to say, though it seems Vaishnavas are giving blessings, but really the mercy depends on sneha leisha apeksha. It depends on one should have a little affection. All the mercy will come. That's the mercy I want. What's this mercy? People think like this. So Maharaj never tolerated this ignorance. He enlightened the whole world. He said, no, 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 no. Snail, it depends on your affectionate service. Then mercy will come. In fact, there's no difference between mercy and affectionate service. If you are rendering the service affectionately, then that is mercy. So the mercy is there, you just have to accept it. Just like water is everywhere in the air, but you are thirsty, you cannot drink it. So Krishna's mercy and Guru's mercy is everywhere, but you have to accept it. That mercy is the seva. So when you begin to serve, now the mercy is coming. They are together. So what is the meaning of course? If you have to surrender and serve and sacrifice, then what's the meaning of ahoituki kripa, causeless? So Maharaj said, in Ahoituki. Like Mahaprabhu prayed, Na Dhanam, Na Janam, Na
Sundari
Kavitamba
Kamba
Jagadisha
Jagadisha
Kamaye,
Kamaye
Mama
Janmani
Janmani
Ishware
Bhavatad Bhakti
Haituki
Ahoituki Tvai. May I have Ahoituki Seva to you. That should be awakening in my heart every moment. So Hetu means cause. So Ahoituki, people say, oh yes, causeless. But here the letter A means Krishna. Akshara Uchite Krishna Savalokaika Nayaka. Just as in the Bij mantra Om. A, U, Ma. A means Krishna. U means Urja, Shakti, Radhika. And Ma, Makshara, Jiva Vachaka. Ma means the Jiva, the soul, me. So Om is the embodiment of the loving relationship between ourselves and Radha Krishna. This is the meaning of. So just as the A in Om means Krishna, so the A in Ahoituki means Krishna. So Ahoituki Seva means the service whose only cause is Krishna. It is to please Krishna. You see? So this is the meaning of Ahoituki. That when we serve with affection only to please Krishna, then the Kripa will come. More and more mercy will come. It is Ahoituki Kripa. It is the Kripa that is the result of serving Krishna without any other cause. So in this way, Maharaj created so many beautiful points of Siddha. Oh. This morning I just woke up, and when I woke up, by Maharaj's mercy, so many memories were coming. Yesterday I was thinking, what will I say in glorification of Maharaj? Vaishnava Chinini Nari Devana Shakati Kemane Chinibo Mubu Mui Adama Pamati. Srila Vrindavan Das Tagore said, even the great demigods, they cannot recognize pure Vaishnavas. So how can a person with very meager, insignificant intelligence understand, recognize, glorify pure Vaishnavas? I was remembering this verse. Then this morning when I woke up, many remembrances were coming. So, I'm remembering Maharaj was like the encyclopedia of the complete history of all the pastimes of the great Vaishnava disciples of Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur. So, as you know, my Param Gurudev is Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj. So one day Maharaj was saying, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj, he would not tolerate any deviation from the Vichadhara, from the current of conception of Prabhupada Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur. So after Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur became unmanifest from this world, then in the Bag Bazaar Gaudiya Math, the main, the flagship of the mission in Calcutta, there, the devotees there, they began to present some different ideas, some divergences. And one of the things they said was, oh, should not wear saffron cloth. Brahmacharis and sannyas, saffron cloth, this is not for Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Then, you know, because in Hari Bhakti Vilasananda Goswami Pad says that one should not wear white, one should not wear saffron cloth, one should wear, sorry, he writes in Hari Bhakti Vilas, one should wear white cloth. In Hari Bhakti Vilas it's written. And many persons quote this and try to make trouble for those in our line, because our sannyasis and brahmacharis in our line, they wear saffron. So, but you should know that if you go to Hari Bhakti Vilas and read that section, it's discussing how a grihastha in his home should serve his deity. So it said the grihastha in his home, when he's serving his deity, should put on, then the verse comes, you should wear white cloth, like that. So context is important. So one thing they said is, you should not, Vaishnavas should not wear saffron, and the other thing they said is, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, it's for very silent or quiet japa. It should not be chanted out loud in Harinam Sankirtan. So then, Now also, among those devotees at Bhakti Gaudiya, I'm thinking, today Srila Thakur's disappearance day. I have to tell his life. I cannot come to the end of the glories of Srila Bhakti Bhakti Maharaj. So we'll see what happens. No one knows.
You can stay for more days.
Even I don't know. So Maharaj was telling me, he said, that time your Param Gurudev, he became like fire. His own brother was one of the devotees, Srila Odalubin Maharaj. His own blood brother was one of the sannyasis in Bhagavad Gaudiya Math at that time. And for this, he disconnected from his own blood brother even. Because he had made a divergence from the teachings of his Guru Padma. That is, our spiritual family is forever. The Sambandha relation with Guru, Sri Guru is paramount. So he gave up his brother. Even when Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshwar was staying at Devananda Gaudiya Math. Once some devotees from the Math, they went preaching and they came back to Calcutta and they came back. Maharaj said, so where did you stay in Calcutta? They said, we stayed at Bhagavad Gaudiya Math. Now you should fast for 3 days, dry fast. To become purified. Because you have seen a person who had an idea that had diverged from the teachings of Prabhupada, Bhakti Stanzal. Digest what it means to have Guru Nishtha. Guru Nishtha faith in Guru is the backbone, it is the spine of Bhakti. If your spine is healthy, you can run. But if you get just a slight injury to the spine, you are paraplegic. You cannot move even. So in the same way, if we have just a little doubt in our Gurudev and Gurudev's teachings, then you become paralyzed in Bhakti, you cannot move at all. And if someone has Guru Nishtha, firm faith in Gurudev, then he's healthy and he can run, gallop on the path, like a horse. Very quickly he can progress. So, Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami's Nishtha was like this. So Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Bharati Maharaj, he was telling me that when they introduced these two deviations, no loud Hare Krishna Mahamantra Kirtan and also no saffron cloth, then Param Gurudev said, that's it, I will take them to court. Because Gaudiya Math is the mission of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, I will prove in court that these are his teachings, and so they are imposters and they are thieves. And so they should be arrested and they should be fined, otherwise they should recant and they should disavow their previous statements. So when Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj was preparing the court case and writing, he was very expert in legal affairs, he was writing the documents and then he was sending them here and there, Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Maharaj was serving him. And he was taking the documents, proofreading them and then taking them to a lawyer and coming back and going to the court, filing them in the court. That was Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Maharaj was doing that seva for Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj. So then gradually the day came. The day of the court case came. But on that day, the devotees of Bhagavad Gaudiya Math, they all came to the court with mridanga and cartels, dressed in saffron and loudly chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram, Hare Hare. Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj said, forget it, you will not make this case. And your Gurudev said, but you did so much work writing all these papers and everything and working with a lawyer and giving them so much money and everything, and you will just drop it before even the case begins? Right? He said, yes, because I have no spirit to make any retribution or vengeance. I have no ill will towards them. I only want that they'll follow Prabhupada. It worked. So because they came in saffron cloth and loudly chanting Harinam, he was satisfied and he dropped the case.
case closed.
These things, they are not written anywhere. Even who was there as the secretary going backwards and forwards? Only Srila Bhakti Vijnana Bharati Maharaj. So only a person like him, like Kakupashandi, the great wise old crow who knows the history for so many yugas, only he can tell such beautiful pastimes. And hearing this, my love for my own Parama Gurudev was nourished, growing, and I can never repay him. So, I'm remembering some more. So, one time, we were at Govardhan. And Srila Bhakti Vijnana Bharati Maharaj was there. He was staying in the mat. And I came. And I was in another room. Some sannyasis invited me. Oh, Prem Rosen come, I want to talk to you. We have some problems. So let's discuss together and try to come up with a solution. And see what's written there in Shastra. So it turned out that the one devotee was coming to Srila Bhakti Vijnana Bharati Maharaj and asking for sannyas. He was an old devotee, very, very senior devotee. And he came to ask for sannyas. And now Maharaj was also very, very, very old. It was his Antilila, some of his last pastimes. So, he came to ask. And Maharaj is very merciful. But some other devotees were telling him, no, don't give. So we'll decide later. So then emergency meeting was there, and I came up, they grabbed a prayer, come in the emergency meeting. So then they said, look, this devotee, many years ago, he done something, like 25, 30 years ago. 30 years before, he done some terrible things. But then afterwards, it seems he'd become rectified maybe. And he was in good standing, but before he done, and this was well known among the devotees. So devotees were saying, if Maharaj would give sannyas to him, then many people who are still angry with that person, they'll turn against Maharaj and the mission will be impeded. So, then what will we do? I said, Maharaj is Swatantra. He's independent. What he likes, he can do. So, you should inform him of all the details and then he will do it. Many devotees were coming, new and young devotees who had never really interacted with Maharaj much. Maybe they saw him a few times. Or they'd never seen him before even, and they were coming to India, some for the first time, because they heard the great Bhagavad Vaishnava, and we should take shelter. And the senior devotees around Maharaj, they were coming to him and giving the list of the persons for initiation. So, though Shastra has said that gurus should test the disciple and all these things for all this period of time, these are the general rules. But for a great Bhagavad Vaishnava Acharya, they also follow. But in their very last Leela, the last final pastimes, then their mercy is overflowing and they may not follow all these things. And they will give initiation and tell, and you should follow this. And they will give them some shelter. Give mercy to them and some shelter that they'll be under the guidance of some senior devotees after they have become aprakat, unmanifest. Because they will speak through those senior devotees, though they are not visible or physically present. But they will speak through their satshisyas and give further guidance. So, the devotees were making the list and giving to Maharaj. So one devotee said, oh, these are the people for the initiation. And then someone else came and said, but I don't think this person is ready. I don't think he's qualified. So then what should we do? Then Maharaj said a very wonderful thing. He said, now I am very old. I did not get the chance to test these persons. So I am depending on you, my senior devotees. You test them, and those you think are qualified, you can put on the list. And I will give initiation. So, my suggestion is this: when you're making the list, Maharaj said, when you make the list, you should remember this one thing. If the person is qualified and you put them on the list, then I will accept them and I will take away all their karma. But if you put someone on the list who is not qualified, then you will take their karma. Alright, then everyone was off. Give me a pen. Very beautiful pastime. Said, I will take responsibility for those you recommend sincerely who are qualified. But if you put an unqualified person on the list, you will take responsibility. Now, I'm remembering the pastime which is most dear, and my final exchange with Maharaj. In his last Radhastami in this world, Maharaj went to a new mutt was just being opened in his mission in the Govardhan, in Govardhan. So there was just like a small building, some deities were there, and there was a hut for Maharaj, little bhajan kutir for Maharaj, and then just not wasteland, it's Govardhan, but just open land, just trees growing here and there, not developed at all. On the Yatipur side of Govardhan, in between Yatipur and Radhakund. So it was Radhastami, and it said that Radharani takes bath 3 times a day. So in the morning, in Gopal Dham on the bank of Jamuna, at my bhajan kuti there was big Mahabhishek installation of deities of Radha Madan Gopal. So there was Abhishek of Radharani's morning bath. And then from there I went to Govardhan, and there was Abhishek of Radharani at Govardhan. And the Maharaj did Abhishek along with the devotees. So that was Radharani's noon bath. And then from there I went to our Chaitanya Kari ashram in Radhakund, and in the evening we did Abhishek of Radharani there. So Radharani takes bath 3 times a day. So we made 3 Abhisheks on that day. So in the noon time, I went there, and Maharaj gave a very beautiful class on the glories of Srimati Radhika. And then there was Abhishek. And then just after that, Maharaj retired to his room, and because he was very old at that time, and he was lying down in his bed, in his bhajan. So at that time, my heart was really burning with a question. And I knew Maharaj will not be with us very long. And he is the only person in the world who can answer this question. There is no living person in the whole world that can answer this question. And it's very, very important for me. Perhaps you know that there was a time in the 60s when my Gurudev was in charge of Keshavji Gaudiya Math in Mathura. And his Gurudev was in Navadip Dham, there on the Gaudiya Math mainly, but he used to come every year for the Brajmana Parikrama, and Gurudev used to go there for Navadip Dham Parikrama. So, some envious persons and critical persons, they have said that Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami is not bona fide, because even though his Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Prakan Keshmati, is very great, and he's the sannyas guru of Srila Prabhupada, but there was a time when Srila Narayan Raj ran away from the mat and went to Govardhan and went to Radhakund, leaving his guru and leaving his guru's service, and took shelter and received Siddha Pranali from Babaji's at Radhakund. And Srila Bhakti Prakan Keshmati was very angry with him. So he is not a bona fide disciple, and so no one should go and hear from him. And even one person, even this person you probably all know, and if you're watching, then you may remember, was deputed to write an official paper explaining this. Why Srila Maharaj is not bona fide. So, I knew something what had happened, because my Gurudev told me himself. At Manasi Ganga, Govardhan, just on the side of Manasi Ganga, there was an old broken down house in a field. And many years before, Srila Gurudev, he had just disappeared from the mat. And he went and stayed in that old broken house, chanting, just chanting day and night, day and night. He said when he came there was heavy rain, it was flooded everywhere. He had no food or anything. And at that time, Giridhari Panda, did you know Giridhari Panda from Manasi Ganga? Yeah? He often used to do parikrama with my Gurudev and also with Srila Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj. So Giridhari Panda was very young then, and his family, they were the pandas of Govardhan for Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, and even in their book, because when a panda takes someone on parikrama, then they have to sign the panda's book. So in his family book, he has signature of Gurudev, Bhakti Pragan Kesha Maharaj, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur even. So we keep very close relation with the pandas in Govardhan, in Nandagaon, in Varsana, in Vrindavan, in Mathura, to this day. I have very close relation with all those to keep the tradition going. The relationship with Brajbasi is a very important part of Raganuga Bhakti. Guru, Goste, Gostalai, Susujane, Bhusura. Bhusura, what does it mean? The Brahmins of the Dham, who are the Tirthapurits of Braja. So, Gurudev said, I experienced what Krishna said. Ananyas chintayantu mam ye jana paripaste tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogatsem bhavanam. If one always thinks of me, Krishna said, whatever you need, I carry it. And when I came there, everything was flooded, I had no food. But miraculously, Giriraj Govardhan inspired Giridhari Panda to come and bring me some rotis and some chapati and some chach, some prasad. So in this way, I was just doing bhajan. Gurudev told me this. So when I was young, one day, I also disappeared from the mat. Everyone was looking for me. They called the police even. They were searching. But they could not guess where I was. I had also disappeared and gone and stayed in that same broken down house to do bhajan there, alone for some time. Just in memory of my Gurudev. Because Gurudev said that at that time, that is when I attained my siddhi. You see? So the place where a Vaishnava, of course he's Nitya Siddha, but he's doing the Leela of going through the stages. The place where a Vaishnava attains his siddhi, that becomes Siddhasthana, Siddha Bhumi. And if you do bhajan in the same place, then so much power is there. The prabhavs, it's called Stan Prabhav, the influence of the place. So in memory of my Gurudev, many years later, I went there in that broken house in the field by Manasi Ganga. I also stayed for days there, chanting. Then Gurudev became Siddha, I did not become Siddha. I think I only made Vaishnava Parat because they're all looking for me anyway. So anyway, I tried to remember my Guru. So then later, do you know my Gurudev's mat at Govardhan, Giridhari Gaudiya mat? Why is it at Manasi Ganga? Because he bought that field. He purchased that field. And he wanted to be in Samadhi in that place where he got his siddhi. See? Just like Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur. He was brought from Calcutta he was brought to Brajapatanam in Mayapur by Srila Bhakti Pragan Kesha, and he was put in Samadhi there. Srila Bhakti Pragan Kesha insisted, no, you have to bring him here and put somebody here. Why? Because that's the place where Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur did his vow to chant 1 billion names. 10 years from 1905 to 1915, and had his leela of attaining his siddhi there. So in the same way, Gurudev wanted to be in Samadhi at Govardhan there. So he bought that land But then when they made the construction, they knocked down that house. And he was actually at the place where the reception is, just on the left side of the gate. They knocked that down, and there's a Pushpa Samadhi there now. Because Gurudev's pastimes, he left from Puri, and they took him to Navadvip and put him in Samadhi there in Koladvip. So one may think, oh, that his desire was not fulfilled to be in Samadhi at Govardhan. But in Navadvip Dham, Koladvip is non-different from Govardhan. So his desire became true. But in a very, from the perspective of Gora Rasa. The Rasa of Gora Lila. Very special. So anyway, so I knew something about this history, that Gurudev had gone there and done bhajan. But deeply I had not discussed it with him, and now Gurudev left. So how will I will never know. So on that Radhastami, after Maharaj had gone in his room to take rest, then I was a bit desperate and I came and knocked on the door. No one can see him now. Mother Priya, oh no. Oh, so then Mother Priya brought me in and closed the door, locked the door. And I came and I knelt down at Maharaj's bed, at his bedside, very close to him because he cannot hear so well. I said, Maharaj, only you can help me. Please help me. What happened many years ago, before I was born, when my Gurudev went to Govardhan, because people are saying some criticism. So it turns out that by asking Maharaj, I hit the jackpot. Because he knew of this. He was the only person in the world, really, who could answer. And the reason is this. When Gurudev disappeared, no one knew where he was, except for one person. Who was that? Srila Bhakti Vijnana. Because when Gurudev was there, he felt this very intense desire. I want to study the commentary of Vishwanath Charit Thakur on Ujjwala Nilamani. But in those days it was very rare and difficult to find. So he wrote, he thought, who can help me? My very dear friend, Srila Bhakti Vijnana Bharati Maharaj. And he secretly wrote a letter to Srila Bhakti Vijnana Bharati Maharaj requesting, please find this commentary on Ujjwala Nilamani and try to arrange to send it for me. So then, without telling anyone, he is a very confidential associate of my Gurudev. So without telling anyone, Srila Bhakti Vijnana Bharati Maharaj set out. He went to Delhi, he went in all the bookshops there, esoteric, religious, Sanskrit bookshop, could not find. He went to Bengal, he went to Calcutta, he was searching everywhere there. Finally he found a copy, and then he brought it to Gurudev in where he was staying secretly at Manasiganga. And Gurudev was so pleased. What service he has done. He was so determined to do Vaishnava Seva. And Gurudev was staying there doing bhajan. And he was not preached to by the Babas at Manasiganga. He was preaching to them. And also you should know that the line at Manasiganga, the Bhajan Kutir of Sanatana Goswami and Chakleshwar Mahadev, they were actually very favorable to Bhakti Saraswati Thakur. Not everyone was against him. So in that line, that is the line of Manohar Das Babaji and another, now I don't remember. They were very favorable to the Srila Bhakti Saraswati Thakur. Yeah. So Gurudev was doing bhajan there. Now, Srila Maharaj had to keep this a secret. Could not tell anyone. And he went to Keshavji Gaudimat, and he was in Keshavji Gaudimat when Srila Bhakti Pragyan Kesh Maharaj arrived from Navadvip and arrived in Mathura there. And he was there when the devotees, he said, where is Srila Narayan Maharaj? And the devotees said, oh, he has gone. He has left. And Srila Bhakti Vijnana Bharati Maharaj, he's lying on his bed and remembering. And as he's speaking, I feel as if I'm there. He said, I was there when the devotees told Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshavaraj this news, and I saw with my own eyes how immediately Bhakti Pragyan Keshavaraj broke down crying. And then Pujapad Bharati Maharaj, he said to me, you should understand that this is a special Leela to manifest to the world the beautiful relationship between Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshavaraj and Srila Bhakti Dantanandraya Maharaj, your Gurudev. Just like no one can understand the love in the heart of Braja Gopis. Even Krishna could not understand. But when Krishna disappeared from the Rasa Leela and they began to weep, and then Krishna saw, then he could understand something, the extent of their praying. So similarly, no one could understand the extent of the love of Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshavaraj for your Gurudev. And so this special pastime manifests, that everyone could see, that when he went to do his bhajan, then that love which was hidden, it became manifest before everyone. And I saw it myself with my own eyes. So then, Srila Bhaktivedanta Bharati Maharaj told me that you should understand that at that time, some persons in the mat, before my Gurudev had disappeared, some persons in the mat, they were making some problems for him. He was serving as much as he could, but no one was showing any appreciation, and they were not cooperating and giving so many problems. That's one thing. A disciple can tolerate problems. But on the pretext of this, he felt that now is the time he had to become completely immersed in Nam Bhajan. And so he disappeared where they could not harass him and involve him in whatever was going on there. And he went there to Giraj Govardhan, as Raghunath Das Goswami has prayed. Nija Nikatani Vasam Devi
Govardhan.
Pramada Madana Leela Kandare Kandare Te Ratyati Navayuna Dwangvi Masmin Namandan Itikila Kalanatam Lagna Kastatayome Nija Nikatani Vasam Devi Govardhan. Oh Giraj Govardhan, in your beautiful caves and kunjas, Radha and Krishna are completely intoxicated in their beautiful loving pastimes. You are the witness of that. So please be merciful to me that I may also have darshan of Radha Krishna's Leela. Give me a residence at your side. So Gurudev went there, like Raghunath Das Goswami, to pray and do his deep bhajan there. And he had the Leela of attaining his siddha there as the Dasi of Srimati Radhika. And then, when that was complete, then Gurudev returned to the mat. Now, Srila Bhaktivedanta Bharati Maharaj said, the proof that this was a special pastime and that there was no estrangement at all or strain in the relationship between your Gurudev and your Param Gurudev is that as soon as he returned, then Bhakti Pragyan Keshavaraj just again made him the head of Keshavji Gauri Math in charge of all the preaching of the whole north of India, because he was mainly staying in the east of India. So this is the praman, this is the proof. So whatever anyone says, they are wrong. I was there. I saw everything with my own eyes. So then I cannot replay Srila Bhakti Vijnana Bharati Maharaj. He was the only living person in this world who could clarify all these points. So in this way, I offer my Shraddha Pushpanjali at his lotus feet. He disappeared. Just one final thing. Vaishnavas are transcendental. And just in case you had any doubt, then in his final Leela, he disappeared, not on any ordinary day, but on the disappearance day of Namacharya Silahara. It was his final miraculous Leela. Param Puja Par Nitya Leela Pavishta Om Vishnu Par Eshtodra Satya Sri Bhakti Vijnana Bharati Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. So perhaps we can say a few words. Now time is going on, but we must say a few words about Srila Haridas Thakur. Srila Bhakti Vijnana Bharati Maharaj himself was famous for this. Every day, without doubt, he would check the Vaishnava calendar to see whether any Vaishnava had appeared or disappeared on that day. And you know, sometimes you may look at the calendar and think, oh, I'm not sure, I don't know who this person is, or no. He used to say, whenever there's some famous Vaishnava, more contemporary or of ancient times, whoever it is, that day is a holy, pure time and a great moment where you can attain the mercy of that Vaishnava. So on that day, you must come together and hear and chant and remember and have a feast in their honor. And if you don't do this, if you're whimsical or complacent and don't honor, it will be an aparat, it will be an offense, and it will make obstacles in devotional service. So, I'll have to say something. Following Maharaj's perfect example in glorification of Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born in this world in the year 1486. And Srila Haridas Thakur appeared in this world 35 years earlier, in 1451, in what is now Bangladesh. He was born in a Muslim family, and his parents died when he was very young. He became an orphan. But Vaishnavas gave him shelter, and Harinam gave him shelter. So it is said that Srila Haridas Thakur is a combined incarnation of a number of personalities. First of all, Brahma Mahatap, who is the son of Rishik Muni. Once his father told him, oh, you should pick Tulsi for offering in the puja to Sri Krishna. And he picked Tulsi and offered it without washing it first. So then his father said, oh, you are not following the rules and regulations of Shastra, so I curse you to become a Malacha. And in his next life he became a Malacha Muslim, and it was Srila Haridas Thakur. So this personality is there. Another personality is there, Prahlad Maharaj. And also, perhaps you know, after Lord Brahma came and tried to steal away the cowherd boys and calves of Krishna, but Krishna bewildered him by his mystic potency, by Yoga Maya. And then Lord Brahma, he apologized. Lord Brahma's offense was worse than Indra's offense. You could say, but Indra tried to smash the whole of Vrindavan and kill everyone. Lord Brahma just took some boys and calves and put them in a cave. No. Brahma's offense is worse than Indra's offense. Why? Because what Indra did, brought all the Brijbasis together on the Giraj Govardhan. But Brahmaji tried to separate Krishna from his devotees. So you have to see from the perspective of praying, from the perspective of love. So Brahmaji, after offering prayers to Krishna, Krishna would not look at him even. Krishna was silent. And Brahmaji had some doubt. He gave pranam again and again, and then he was flying back to Brahmalok on his swan. But on the way, Brahmaji thought, oh, because one day of Brahma is thousands and thousands of yugas. One day of Brahma is 1,000 cycles of ages. So it means that after the Dwarpa Yuga, Krishna is here at the end of Dwarpa Yuga. Then very soon, he will appear again as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Brahma was thinking, oh, Krishna will appear again. And I may become proud and bewildered again and make another offense. So he decided, I'll not go back to Satyalok. Let me go to the Dham of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And Lord Brahma came to Mayapur, Antadvip. And there, Lord Brahma began to call upon the names of Gauranga! And chanting the name of Gauranga Mahaprabhu again and again. After some time, Gauranga Mahaprabhu appeared before him. He said, I am afraid that I will become carried away with false prestige of being the creator of the universe, and I may make offense to you in your pastimes. Please give me a low birth that I may become more humble than a blade of grass. Mahaprabhu said, I bless you that when I appear, before I appear, you will appear. In an outcast, as a Malacha. And you will be very, very humble. And you will assist me in my mission of spreading Harinam Sankirtan everywhere. And Mahaprabhu revealed to him what was the inner meaning, the inner purpose of his appearance. Why was Mahaprabhu coming in this world? To spread the Harinam Sankirtan is the external purpose. The internal purpose is that Krishna wants to know the glories of Radhika's brain, the beauty in him that only her eyes full of love can see, and the happiness that Radhika experiences when she tastes the sweetness of Krishna. So because that is the place where the Supreme Lord revealed his antara, his internal purpose of appearance to Lord Brahma, so it is called Antardvip. Then Mahaprabhu disappeared and Brahmaji waited, and then in 1451 he appeared in the Muslim family. So the Brahmin boy, Brahma Mahatap, and Prahlad Maharaj, and Lord Brahma, they're all present in Srila Haridas Thakur. And also Srila Haridas Thakur has his original form as the eternal associate of Mahaprabhu in Nitya Navadvip Dham. And they have entered into that original form, those different personalities. So, Srila Haridas Thakur has so many beautiful pastimes. Perhaps you know that one day there was a Dharma Sabha, a gathering of Vaishnavas in the house of Govardhan Majumdar, the father of Raghunath Das Goswami, in the village of Adi Saptagram, very close to, on the other side of the river from Panihati. So there was a gathering of devotees and brahmanas and scholars, and they were having a discussion. So someone said, the holy name is very powerful, it can give mukti, liberation. Another person said, no, the holy name cannot give mukti, it's very difficult to attain mukti, even after many lifetimes. And they were discussing in this way. In the meantime, Srila Haridas Thakur arrived there. So then they asked, oh, Haridas, what is your opinion? Srila Haridas Thakur said, no. You are saying the holy name cannot give mukti, you are wrong. And you are saying that the holy name can give mukti, you are also wrong. Because the pure holy name, you don't even need the pure holy name to get mukti. Only Nam Abbas. The slight shadow of the name will give mukti. The pure holy name actually gives prem, which is far beyond mukti. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Prema is the Parama Purushottam, Panchama Purushartha. Prema Purushartha, the supreme goal of life. So the holy name gives prem. Only the Abbas of the holy name can give liberation. That means someone saying the name of Krishna but using it to refer to someone else without even an intention of addressing God. That will give mukti. So there was one Brahmin who was a tax collector for Govardhan Majumdar because he owned 7 villages. And this Brahmin, his name was Gopal Chakravarti. And he used to work for him and he was very highly paid. And he used to collect taxes. But he was a puffed up scholar and a logician. So the logicians can never understand the power of Harinam. And he became angry. He said, what do you say? What are you saying? It's very, very difficult to attain mukti after many lifetimes. And you are saying only Nama Bas will give mukti in a moment? If it's not true, then your nose should fall off. You should get leprosy. And your nose should fall off. He said, I'll cut off your nose. Haridas Thakur said, if it's not true, I'll cut off my own nose. No problem. So then, Govardhan Majumdar was horrified that a Vaishnava aparad had been committed in his house. Because everyone will be destroyed and that place becomes inauspicious. So at once, he begged forgiveness. Oh Haridas, please forgive us. And he had his men, his security, throw Gopal Chakravarti out of that assembly. So Gopal Chakravarti was thrown out. And then he begged forgiveness. Oh Haridas, please forgive us. This is so terrible that I invited you to my home and you have been offended here. Haridas Thakur said, I am not offended. He is a Tarkic person, logician. By logic, no one can understand the glories of the Holy Name. So how can it be expected that he will understand? You don't worry. So Haridas Thakur was very humble and very forgiving. So Vaishnava will forgive an offense. But Krishna does not forgive. So then within 3 days, that Brahmin, who was very golden and beautiful, he broke out in leprosy. And the leprosy came on his nose, and within a few days his nose melted away and fell off. Then everyone was, be careful, don't commit Vaishnava. And especially they were very, very respectful to Haridasta. But you know that later, many years later, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was going to Vrindavan, he came to Navadvip and he came to Koladvip, to the place where my parent Gurudev established Devananda Gaudiya Math, because that place is called Aparad Bhanjan Pat. And all the persons who had made offences to Mahaprabhu and his associates, when he returned there, they came and fell at his feet weeping. So later, Mahaprabhu told him, you should honor Srila Haridas Thakur and constantly chant the holy name. And he followed Mahaprabhu's order, and gradually the leprosy went away and he became beautiful again. So this is why my parent Gurudev made his mat exactly in that place. Devananda Gaudiya Math, the Aparad Bhanjan part, where Mahaprabhu forgave Gopal Chakravarti, where he forgave Gopal Chapala, told him he had made offense to Srivas Thakur, go, and he also had leprosy, go and serve Srivas Thakur. And then Gopal Chapala became Devaki Nandan Das, who has written the poem, Vaishnava Bandhana. All the students who had criticized Mahaprabhu and tried to beat him, in Navadvip, he tried to beat them, and then they all ganged up against him. You know, Mahaprabhu was chanting, Gopi, Gopi, Gopi.